Hello everybody and welcome to this video. Today I want to talk about how to cook as sustainable and zero waste as possible. For me personally, this is the hardest part about the whole zero waste thing, because I just don't manage to do everything sustainably in this category. But I will share the tips and tricks that I do and that work for me, so maybe you can use them as well if you don't know them already and adapt a more sustainable lifestyle. Let's start with when you go grocery shopping. Of course, I think that's obvious by now. Bring your own shopping bags and produce bags so you can skip all these plastic bags. Of course, it's not always possible because a lot of things just come only in plastic, so we cannot change that. Maybe you can go to a bulk store or you can try to find a glass or paper option, but just opt for the best thing. We cannot do everything. That's the hard truth, I think. At least I cannot manage, even in a city with a bulk store. I cannot buy groceries completely zero waste. What is important too while grocery shopping is trying to buy as local and organic as possible. Local foods, of course, need less, like traveling miles, need no fuel to be transported to your store, or I mean at least less. And if you buy organic food, you can make sure that there are no harsh pesticides used that will damage the ground and be harmful to bees and other animals. Now, when you come home and start cooking, the next thing is that usually cooking from scratch is the most sustainable option. What I like to do is baking my own bread. I have a sourdough starter which I feed almost every day. Only if I put it in the fridge, then I can leave it for some days and don't have to feed it. But out of that starter, I make my dough and after that bake it in my oven. Speaking of baking, you can use a silicone baking mat instead of baking sheets, because the baking sheets are usually covered with a silicone surface, which makes it impossible to really recycle. With a baking mat, it's made of silicone as well, but at least you can use it for years because you can just wash it after using and use it again and again and again. Of course, there are other things you can do from scratch at home as well. I, for example, like to do my own bread spread. For example, hummus, I think, is a super easy thing to do. I buy the chickpeas in our bulk store, so they come with no packaging at all. I cook them and add the other things I need, and I think I can do hummus completely plastic free. The other things I use for hummus, I think, come in glass packaging, so it's not completely packaging free, but at least a lot better than buying these small plastic hummus things you find in a store in Germany. While cooking, make sure to use all of the parts of the vegetable that you can actually eat. For example, I really like to eat the carrot skin, potato skin, broccoli stem, or just all these parts of the vegetables that you can eat, but a lot of people do not eat. The things that you do not eat, make sure to at least compost them. Sometimes you can bring them somewhere, or your house has something like that, or try making a vegetable broth out of it. For that, you can freeze all your scraps, and once you have enough, you just cook them in water and all the flavors will soak into the water and you have a beautiful vegetable broth. I have to admit I haven't tried that, but I will try it in the future for sure. Of course, if you have the space and knowledge, you can grow your own herbs and vegetables. We grow our own herbs, but we don't have the space for vegetables, and sometimes we also do not have the time and do not want to have the effort of growing vegetables. But herbs are an easy thing, and you can have so much outcome and save so much packaging by just growing some herbs in your kitchen or on your balcony or somewhere like that. If you're not really into growing your own herbs, you should consider regrowing your vegetables, because spring onions or leek are the perfect vegetables to be regrown. You just put a part of them in water and wait for a few days. Sometimes you can even see them grow in hours. You can regrow the complete vegetable again, maybe sometimes even 2 times, and so you save a lot of money and resources that would otherwise be needed to produce that vegetable. If you're done eating, you can freeze your leftovers or just put it in the fridge for a few days. For that, you can actually use jars. A lot of people recommend leaving the lid open so it wouldn't break the glass while freezing, but actually for me that hasn't ever happened, so I think you can even close the lid. The last point I have is very important and more general. Animal products use a lot of resources and are not very eco-friendly. So even if you don't want to go vegan, or even if you don't want to go vegetarian, at least reducing the animal products can have a huge impact on a more sustainable lifestyle. Every time you can skip on an animal product, you save a lot of water and a lot of resources. These are the tips I have for you today. I hope there has been something that you didn't know before, or maybe you have at least one new idea that you can try in the future. If you have any more tips and tricks, please leave them in the comments below so it can contribute to a more sustainable lifestyle for as much people as possible. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you like this channel. I hope to see you next time. Bye!